Alrighty. Oop. Hold up, I'm not already. I've forgotten something. Oh, good thing no one's here yet. Alrighty. There we go, that goes there, that goes there. Oh, good. Oh, good. All set up. For more Katawa Shoujo. Oh, I'll just give it a wee moment to see if anyone pops in. Oh, and to get the stream actually loading up again. There we go. It always takes just clicking on a button. Katawa Shoujo seems to need like input to actually register it on OBS. Okay, game audio's coming through, my audio's coming through. All good, all good. I wonder. Actually, hold on. Let me tab out a sec again. I want to check something. Is this what I want? Okay. Okay, yeah, there we go. Ooh, I think that should all be okay. Oh, no, I didn't need to start. Hold up, get me back to the main menu. I didn't need to start a new one. I have saves for that. Okay, OBS, do you want to pick this up again for me? Still missing one there. OBS, why are you struggling so much? There we go. Yeah, just look at the library. I've still got missing chapter in Act 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, still 7 chapter, like 7 scenes. I wonder if they're to do with Shizune? I imagine they probably must be. Or just like little like specific ones. But that's still sort of, I suppose I hadn't really processed like how many scenes there are in just the first act. Emmy, I imagine these for Emmy are a bad end because I very nearly got that bad end. Hanako, I've only just started as Hanako, so yeah, I'm not surprised that that's all. Lily, oh, I got everything for Lily. And then Rin, did I get everything for Rin? Because I did get, oh no, I missed one there for Rin. Oh, missed a few for Rin. Okay. I don't know if these are chronological. But what happened between the meeting with Rin at the exhibition and Naomi questioning? I did get the yeah, I got the bad ending there, unless is there 2 bad endings? And then of course I can't see Shizune's. Do you have to unlock music, I wonder? But I've kind of got everything at this point. Okay, well, I think now we're good to get started. So let's load up. Rise and shine. So let me just double check what just happened again. Okay, yeah, we've just been helping out at the council with the student council, and Hisao had yeah, just mentioned to Misha kind of like maybe like don't joke, like make the kind of like jokes she was making around Hanako. Uh, okay, and just asked her to apologize. Alrighty. Chirping birds. That's it. Normally, this would be a good time to reflect upon the beauty of nature, but it is 6 a.m. I feel you there, Hisao. Covering my head with a pillow, I slam my face into the mattress, hoping that the impact will send me instantly back to sleep. Futile. If only it were that easy to sleep. I toss and turn, but sleep simply won't return to me. Alright, nature, you've won. See, I'm getting up now. The lack of sleep weighs my mind down, and there's only one remedy for this. A nice, hearty breakfast. It would be nice to be the first person here. To be the first to dig into a piping hot pile of food, to sit wherever I desire. It would have been nice. But even my exceptionally early start has put me behind the most diligent students. I guess there are quite a few people that have early starts here for one reason or another. A group of students in sports clothes huddle around one table, eagerly discussing game plans in between inhaling great gulps of food. Scattered around the hall are a number of bleary-eyed students, probably suffering from the same ailment as myself. Noisy birds. And of course, there are the people that actually enjoy getting up this early. The ones with their bags stuffed with textbooks and completed homework. It's hard not to despise people like that, even more so when you're tired yourself. Picking out a familiar face from the thin crowd, I head towards the nearest table. Lily sits alone, delicately feeling her way around a small plate of eggs with her fork. It's almost a shame to interrupt her in her clockwork movements. I wonder, is this how a blind person zones out? Simply moving in predetermined patterns learned over the years, just like how a sighted person would eat while reading a newspaper. Good morning, Lily. I didn't expect you to be here this early. Oh, Hisao. You startled me. I didn't know you took breakfast this early. Oh, I don't. This is an exception to the rule. I'd greatly prefer to be late to school than early to breakfast. Lily gives a small sigh at my admitted tardiness as I begin eating my food. It doesn't take long for her to lapse back into her previous mindless nibbling. Each short motion lacks energy. I suppose this is similar to letting your eyes wander while performing an ordinary chore. But after a few repetitions of the find food, eat food cycle, Lily puts down her fork and daps her lips with a napkin. Hisao, do you mind if I ask you a question? Damn. All I want is a little food and about 4 hours of sleep. And nobody says, can I ask you a question for a simple question? Sure. Do you think of Hanako as a friend? Huh. This seems like a leading question. I guess so. Why do you ask? No real reason. I do have another question, though. Why is it that you think of her as a friend? Oh, this is well above my level. What is she expecting from me? I'm not really sure. I guess it's because she's a little different in the way she deals with people? Since I've known her, she hasn't really connected with anyone. She doesn't seem interested in other people, and I think people are a little scared off by her appearance. Really? I thought that kind of thing was, well, discouraged here. discriminating and such. If I were to put it one way... She furrows her brow in thought, a move which makes me slightly anxious as to what she's plucking from her mind. I'd say that you're a little naive. Yeah, I mean... Just because, like, discrimination is discouraged doesn't mean people are going to stop. Oh, and even when people, like, aren't deliberately trying when it comes to something like that... But especially as given Hanako's personality on top of her appearance, like you can see it giving people the impression that like would it be rude to talk to her? Like, does she want to be left alone? And then when it comes to the scarring, it's as much as we would love the ideal of just being able to look past all that, it's hard. When something's so visible, it is hard to ignore it. I think Hisao mentioned as much himself. Was it when he was walking? He was going down into town to help one of the girls with shopping, I think. I can't remember if it was Lily or Hanako herself. But he brought up the point as kind of like it. Like it's always there, like right in front of you whenever you're talking to her. So yeah, I think Lily has a point that thinking that the school discourages it, so surely it can't be the case. Naive? I'd be insulted if not for the slightly cynical grin on her face. I see. While Yamaku has a stronger sense of community compared to other schools, it's far from being free of conflict. Rules cannot remove human nature, after all, only suppress it. That's something I've noticed, actually. Just little things, like how certain people and cliques avoid each other in the hallways. It's no different in my old school, really. Even Lily and Shizune could be considered bitter rivals, even though they both seem like fairly accepting people. Well, at least the Misha-tinted Shizune does. Who knows what actually goes on with her fingers and behind her glasses. I guess you're right, but when I first came here, everything was a bit of a shock. Kept on making mistakes, or at least thinking I was making mistakes. Like when we first met and I said, "I see," to you. I didn't know if that was considered rude or anything, so I tried to just put it in the back of my mind. Treating people any differently and that kind of thing. So I didn't. I told myself that Hanako and you and everyone else was just normal, and I tried to ignore the obvious. I talked to Hanako as if she were any other person, and so we became friends. At least, that's how I think it happened. But, you know, I feel guilty just from saying something like that aloud. As if it took extra effort to think of Hanako or you or anyone here as normal people. I don't think that's right. Hisao, I think you are naive, but I also think that you are a good person. It is perhaps one of your better traits. I suppose I can take that as a compliment? Tell me, are you free tonight? If you don't count homework, then I'm free as the breeze. In that case, would you care to join myself and Hanako for tea? I don't really have that much money at the moment, so going out isn't really... Oh, I didn't mean going out. I'm just here, this evening. You can access the classrooms in the evening here? Oh, no, that's not what I meant. Hanako and I often use my room for tea parties together. Please feel free to drop by after dusk. Sure, I see no problem with that. What's your room number? 225. Room 25 on the second floor. Okay, sure. Well then, I had best be off. I have class Oh. Oops. For some reason I misread that as Hisao speaking. Well then, I had best be off. I have class representative duties to attend to, after all. Until this evening, Hisao. Yeah, catch you later. Hang on. Was I just invited to a girl's room after hours? Is that even allowed? There is the curfew here, but I've never heard any rules about visitors in the dorm rooms. Even still, this is enough to get my sleep-deprived brain jump-started. Add to that a lukewarm breakfast, and you have one hell of a pick-me-up. I grudgingly go to class, still a little excited at the prospect of breaking the rules. I feel a little like a kid planning to sneak out of his window at night. Well, maybe that's going a little too far, but when you compare an invitation to a party to 6 or so hours of lectures, I know which one wins. Misha and Shizune do little to relieve my boredom either. For once, they seem determined to actually complete Muto's assignments. Nevertheless, the day eventually winds to a close. I hurry back to my room to wash up and comb my hair. Thankfully, I don't run into Kenji. Before long, I'm leaving the boys' dorm. I nervously rap on the door marked 225, checking my watch once again. Is that you, Hisao? The door's open. You can come in. Okay, I was beginning to wonder about that. Like, it didn't sound like they'd arranged a specific time. She just said, like, this evening. And I wondered if, like, going straight from class... Well, like, it seemed like he was going, like, fairly, like, straight from class to his room just to, you know, get showered and changed. And then leaving again. Lily's voice lilts through the door and soothes my nerves. This is the first time I've been invited to a girl's room after dark. Even though I know there is no ulterior motive behind this invitation, it doesn't stop my mind running wild with possibilities. One guy, 2 girls, in a dorm room, with a tea set. When I put it like that, it sounds a little dodgy. Giving a small sigh to steady myself, I gingerly put my hand on the handle and opened the door, craning my head to see inside. The door opens completely, and I catch my first glimpse of Lily's room. Her furniture looks almost antique, but the bare walls and flat surfaces are barely decorated at all. In the center of the room sits a low table, where I see a small tea set at rest. It seems that everything in this room has its place, possibly excepting the several piles of books stacked up against the wall. Oh, so they are still... I was wondering, given that, apparently, like, each of the roots is written by someone different. And that's why, kind of, like, Hisao and, like, the characters, like, can be a little different in their personalities between roots. I was wondering if there's, like, there would be any differences in Lily's room. But, so it was it was interesting to see that the books are still present. But I get the feeling that if anyone, like, it probably would have been the writers for Lily and Hanako probably would have done the most cooperation, given that these two, like, do seem to be, like, the closest to each other. Oh, hello, my dear. Welcome to the stream. Oh, don't worry. You haven't missed too much, I don't think. I think we're still in, like, the first scene I started. My sense of vision isn't the only one to be stimulated. The faint smell of something can be picked up on the air. Nail polish, perfume, makeup. It's hard to describe in any way other than girly. My eyes finish their quick sweep of the room before returning their position on the girls. Lily sits next to the small table, wearing very dark blue pajamas. Dark blue pajamas with shorts that show off plenty of her alluring pale legs. Walter all had different offers. Set pieces were all done by the artist, so it's good. Oh, okay. Also, hello, Kendi. Welcome to the stream. Opposite her, Hanako sits adorned in a conservative light pink gown. Her hands are firmly fixed between her legs, her shoulders forward and her head down, as if trying to hide herself in it. It would be easy for her to do. It looks about 2 sizes too big for her. Waves of flannel flow from her frame, making her look like a child playing dress-up in her parents' clothes. She looks up to confirm my identity, and the beginnings of a thin smile creep across her face, before vanishing so fast that I can't be sure they ever were there. There's no point you standing in the doorway, Hisao. I take a step into the room, closing the door behind me. Oh, my. I'm afraid this really is a small room for the 3 of us. Would you like to take a seat? I slowly walk to the table and sit down, trying my hardest not to disturb anything along the way. I also can't help but steal a quick glance into Lily's top as I sit. To be robbed of sight would be a most terrible fate. That feels a little insensitive to think, like, at that moment. Also, why is it like one of the first scenes in Hanako's route, and we have Hisao checking out Lily instead? Well now, how about some tea? Hanako, could you please pour? Sure. Hisao, would you like? Okay, this is I'm feeling, to be fair, Hanako's, yeah. I mean, I get that. I'm also appreciating, I think, like, this is how I expected Hanako to act in Lily's route for the first time Hisao showed up to the room. Because I remember thinking at the time that, like, Hanako doesn't, like, seems to be, like, very okay with Hisao seeing her in her pajamas, given how shy she normally is. But this time, yeah, this time this is more like how Hanako, I think, I expected her to act. No. And like this is like she's gone back to being like even she's more shy than she has been in other scenes in this route so far. IRL photos were submitted by several people. Oh yeah, I had figured they all had just a filter put over the top. Skull itself is actually Skull from the UK. Yeah, it did look like it could be like a UK school. No, it also kind of... No, definitely different to the school I attended. Oh, but yeah, I had gotten the feeling, like, from looking at little bits of it, that it didn't feel like many of, like, visually it didn't feel like Japan too much, either UK or Netherlands. Okay. Yeah. See, I'm going to be curious now to see if I can see if there's any, like, electrical outlets in any of these scenes. Because that would let me know whether it's the UK or not. I would love some tea. Do you need a hand? No, I'm fine. Thank you. Lily finds it difficult to resist a smile at her companion's nervousness, something I can't really blame her for. Been a tiring day? Yeah. I relax at my place, opposite of the cabinet. To my left is the blue-clad Lily, and to my right sits the pink Hanako. The tea set on the table looks cute as well as practical, painted red with a floral motif. It looks odd when contrasted with Lily's plain but generally sophisticated-looking furniture, which leads me to think that Hanako might have picked it out. There's a slight ting when Hanako accidentally clips the teapot on a cup as she is pouring. She breathes in sharply. She must be really nervous, as it's not the kind of thing anyone would worry about. Oh, excuse me. I think I've got some hiccups. Hanako quivers at her mistake. It's okay, Hanako. There's no need to be nervous. Hanako seems to find some confidence in Lily's reassuringly soft-spoken words, and deftly pours the next 2 cups. Here you are, Hisao. Lily. Hanako carefully places a cup and saucer in front of Lily and myself. I could get used to service like this. Thank you, Hanako. Yeah, thanks. You're welcome. Lily searches for her cup, and upon finding it, sips delicately. I do the same. This tea tastes somewhat better than the tea we usually have at school. This is nice. It's so different from any tea I've had before. Looks like you picked the right one, Hanako. You've done well, even if it was a bold move. Hanako's smile returns, redoubled. Even with her blighted face, her shy smile couldn't be called anything but cute. I'm glad you like it. Hanako, finally beginning to relax, sips from her cup. I think back to my chat with Misha the other day. Is Hanako's behavior something to be concerned about, or is she just shy? Excuse me? And then there was Lily earlier this morning. And the concern from both of them seemed to be genuine, and they know the situation better than I. But really, how could I possibly help? I'm no plastic surgeon, so I can't really help her appearance. Nor am I a psychologist who can make her more sociable. So what the hell do Lily and Misha want me to do? But I mean, to be fair, I don't think... It didn't sound like Lily had any expectations for you, Hisao. I think she's more kind of... I got the feeling a little bit Lily's concern was... Like, she was asking, like, why he's friends with Hanako. Which I think is more, like... to me, that came across as, like, concerned that, like, she wanted to make sure, like, he wasn't getting friendly with her for, like, any weird reason. It's frustrating. Hanako and I are quickly becoming friends of our own accord, and because of that, it's like everyone wants me to solve all her... Baby Hisao, I think you're... Has that been what's happening? Like, that doesn't feel like what's been happening. Lily is being a mom and shaking her friend. Yeah, that's the kind of thing it felt like more. She was just kind of... like, checking in, like, kind of wanting to make sure that, you know, her friend... Hanako's friends are going to be good for her. Because I suppose you do kind of... When someone's, like, is that kind of socially withdrawn... You need to be a bit cautious with who they're friends with. Because a friendship going bad could, like, push them even further into... I was doing some mind reading here, assuming what people want them to do. Yeah. It's kind of like... I've not been picking this up at all. I suppose after all the socializing, I know Hisao is. He keeps coming up with new ways to disappoint me. and I have no idea how to do that. No one can cure my heart, nor Lily's eyes, or anyone who is here in this school. However, I see no harm in becoming better friends with Hanako. Now that she's warming up to me, I kind of enjoy hanging out with her. So, Hisao, are you enjoying yourself? Lily's words break me out of my reverie, and I take a second to reconsider where I am. I'm in a room with two girls in their bedclothes. This is something to be enjoyed. Yeah, it's relaxing. Almost like I'm not in the school anymore. Do you do this often? Quite often, but not as often as we take tea in the school building. Considering they do that nearly every day, that's not a big surprise. As I move to take another sip from my teacup, I find it sadly empty. That was delicious. Thank you, Hanako, Lily. You're welcome. Yes, you're most welcome, Hisao. It's nice to have a third person here. Well, anytime you need someone to fill that position, I'm always available. Always. One must be sure to get one's point across in these circumstances. Lily lets loose a yawn, which she unsuccessfully hides with her hand. Oh, pardon me. I think I'm a little tired. I think we're all a little tired. My, how astute we are tonight, Hanako. We really should head to bed. We all have class tomorrow. Yeah, I should go. Thank you for your presence, Hisao. Thanks. You'll come again? Not even a whole army could stop me. I didn't feel like there was even much conversation there. It was just kind of, come along, have some tea, leave. I'm impressed by your determination, Hisao. Either way, you're right. We'd best get going. I stand up and make for the door. Hanako gingerly stands up behind me. I stop and face her. Are you coming with me? Hanako instantly blossoms into full blush. No. This room isn't... It's okay, I was only joking. It happens. Can't sink the narrative at all. Oh. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't necessarily, like, expecting, like, a mass amount of plot progression or anything, but just kind of, you know, maybe some more banter. It just felt like very... Oh. Just very abrupt, the kind of... Here's your tea. Have some, like, inner monologue to yourself. End of conversation. Oh, okay. Good night. Good night, Hanako. Good night, Hisao. Night all. And with that, our tea party finishes. I'm still not sure what it is that Lily wants me to do for Hanako, but I don't want to let her down. You're overthinking this, buddy. I wait until the door is closed behind us before turning to Hanako. Hey, Hanako, you know, you don't have to be nervous around me or anything. I mean, we're friends, right? Right. We're friends. If you ever want to hang out or anything, just let me know. We still need to have that chess rematch, remember? Sure. But I don't think you'll win. It wouldn't be any fun if it was easy. Hanako seems to give a muted laugh, but she could have just as easily been exhaling. Good night, Hisao. With that, Hanako quickly retreats into her room, located next to Lily's. I start to walk back to my dorm, but the simple act of walking seems to drain me of my energy. I barely make it to my room before I'm hit by a wave of exhaustion. I kick off my shoes, fall into bed, and fall asleep by the time my head hits the pillow. Oh. Just exhaustion? They put something in his tea. I pull my door closed, ready for another day of classes. Sleep well? Hello, Kenji. It's been a while. I suppose it hasn't been too long. Wish I could fall asleep. Yeah, I wish, like, falling asleep was something the drugs didn't work fast enough. Oh, boy. That's... the new series of Kamen Rider, Zets, is definitely giving me a lot of that with the main character's ability to just, like, fall asleep instantly. Kenji's sudden arrival makes me jump, and I narrowly avoid butting heads with him. I know he has poor eyesight, but he knows who I am now. Does he still have to stand this close? Oh, yeah, like a baby. Damn, why do people say that? You ever heard a baby sleep? They scream! All night, every night. Babies don't sleep well, ever. Well, there goes my restful state. I have to remember to never use figures of speech with Kenji. Fall asleep instantly and stay asleep. Yeah. No, it is a superpower I wish I had. I would argue that that's less believable than the actual, like, transforming into a Kamen Rider. Is being able to fall asleep on demand. Alright, I get your point. It was a figure of speech. Yeah, sure, whatever. Where were you last night? I had a favor to ask you, but you weren't around. For a split second, I considered telling Kenji the truth, that I was spending time with Hanako and Lily. Thankfully, that split second passes as soon as it came. I was just out, checking out the local area and stuff. You know, recon. Oh, good man, good. I knew you were the type to plan ahead. Anyway, what was this favor you wanted? I was going to get some takeout, but I needed change. What? I gave you money last week and you still haven't paid me back. I was starting to think you were cool. But, you know, I know it's like the fourth route now, so I'm kind of given up on expecting anything, but I was really hoping, like, some of the routes might, like, develop Kenji a bit more. Because this doesn't seem like a very productive, like a very, like, particularly healthy friendship. The vibe we've gotten is that Kenji seems to, like, be leeching off Hisao a little bit, generally, like, getting him to go along with his conspiracy theories. And then the one time that, you know, you do hang out properly with him, Hisao ends up dead. Crazy conspiracy theories does not stop being crazy. I know, but and to be fair, I'm not even asking for Kenji to change. I kind of just want, like, can he have some development in terms of, like, learning, like, why he's this way? Like, is there a reason behind it? Not all friends are good for you. Yep. So, yeah, it'd be nice just, like, understand a bit more about, like, a bit more about him. But I guess he's just been devolved into, like, a very two-dimensional character. Kenji fishes around in his pocket and produces his wallet. As he counts out the 400 yen he owes me, I can clearly see at least two 10,000 yen notes. Hey, what the hell? Why are you borrowing money off me when you've got that much cash? Kenji hisses a little, realizing that he's been had. Get off my case, man. It's bad luck to break a big note for anything less than half its value. It's the tycoon's rule. Always had screws. Furry wasn't this bad until his girlfriend broke up. Oh yeah, there was that little bit of backstory. I think part of it with my brain was just kind of like, didn't feel like that was enough of a justification for him spiraling into the conspiracy theories the way he did. But yeah, to be fair, in this particular point, I feel Kenji, like... I mean, I don't believe it's bad luck, but I kind of, like, get Kenji, like, being... more far-reaching theories, think his girlfriend was Yuko. Oh, to be fair, like, I kind of can understand, like, why there be theories like that. Mostly, was it during Rin's route? I'm trying to remember, like, because it was either during Emmy, I think it was during Emmy or Rin's route. And there were some, like, they never interacted, but there were some little things said, particularly about the kind of books they were interested in. So, like, I don't think I'd be convinced, but I can kind of, I do feel like there is some kind of connection. Funny how he's supposed to be based on one of the devs. Oh. That is, I think, a little concerning, maybe. But yeah, no. I kind of don't know if I agree with Kenji, but kind of I feel there's a point that you don't like breaking big notes for anything like too small. Oh. Yeah, like if I have a 20 in my wallet, like I don't want to buy something that's like £1.50 with it. Plus, working in retail, I know it's annoying that when someone comes in with a big note and tries to buy something small with it, and you have to fish out all the change. No, I think it's actually one of the reasons where at our work we've stopped accepting £50 notes entirely. Because most of our transactions tend to be like very, very small transactions. So like when people came in with a 50 and it's kind of like, hey, can I get change for this? So. Oh. Last night's dinner is going to cost me 7 years of bad luck. 7 years! Don't you think that's enough cause to help someone out? I'd get a shorter sentence if I just stole the stuff. My common sense screams at me to say something to him, but thankfully I restrain myself. Arguing a point like this with Kenji will just lead to further and more complicated discussions. Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe you should plan these things a little better. Yeah, man, I know. I've got so much stuff to do, it's hard. And you're never around anymore, so I'm on my own. We're supposed to be brothers in the Brotherhood, remember? Yeah, I get you. Global conspiracy and such. I'll keep my ear to the ground. Kenji draws close enough for me to get a clear whiff of his garlic-tainted breath. You'd better, man. You're already spending less time here. That's the first thing they do. They'll try to split us up, divide and conquer. Sun Tzu said that. And I'd say he knows a little more about fighting than you do, buddy, because he invented it. When it's easier to just go along with you. Sorry, it is like programmed into me that if I hear the phrase Sun Tzu said that, my brain just immediately continues on with the script of Meet the Soldier. Oh, no. I don't know, and I can kind of... I don't know, I can imagine that being the kind of video Kenji might watch for fun. Roger that. Now, I've got to be going. I've got classes. You coming? I'm tired. I stayed up all night just to make sure nothing was going to happen after splitting that note. As rational as ever, I see. Whatever. Night. Kenji scurries back into his room, and I hear him throwing his locks as I walk down the hallway. Okay. Right. With that, moving on to the next scene, though, I am going to quickly run to the bathroom. I will be back in 2 seconds. Sorry about that. I just had my dinner not too long before the stream. I think maybe I drank a little too much. Anyway, where were we? That is why some people can't roll their tongue, or why their second toe is longer than their big toe. Muto beams a Hoffman smile at us, obviously proud of his explanation of recessive genes. Latter's called Morton's toe? Oh, okay. Also, wasn't Muto like a physics teacher? This sounds like biology. Where is... He's science. Where's high school? Isn't high school when the sciences start? All science. I thought high school they tended to like differentiate and like specialize. I remember biology, physics, and chemistry all being like their separate subjects with different teachers for each of them. However, but yeah, especially if these are like we're in like the final year. I was gonna say like no, I suppose maybe like if you're in the early years of school, but like they've established like some, if not most, of the characters are at least 18, or like 18, so they have to be in like the last year of school. However, no matter how impressed he is at the science that defines who we are, the classroom seems to be reduced to stupor. Why is it that a bad explanation can make even the most interesting thing seem worthless? He specializes in physics, but he's also a general science teacher. Okay. That's stupid. Oh, I can't tab out to invest. Hold up, I need to check. I can't. I'd get distracted looking that up. So I'm kind of curious. Like in Japan, like do they just teach general science at high school? Is that how it is in the US? Do they just teach like is it just science class in high school? You don't have separate physics, chemistry, and biology? I can see Muto deflate as he realizes that nothing he's said in the past half hour has sunk in. Whispered conversations start to break the silence, and like an avalanche, the noise level in the class starts to rise. Defeated, Muto identifies some questions from the textbook and starts declaring off the blackboard. Almost as if expected, Hanako packs up her things and leaves as soon as people start talking and laughing among themselves. They're separated? At least for all high school years. Okay. So yeah, it's not just the UK then. The initial shock of seeing someone play so blatantly truant has started to fade, but it doesn't stop me from wondering. Is she leaving because she doesn't want people to speak to her, or is it just a thought of... Excuse me? Or is it just a thought of people around her shattering her peace? Biology, chemistry, and community and anatomy were the ones you'd... Imagine if you teach specific physics classes. Managed to. Oh, okay, I suppose. Yeah, for us, I don't think we really had an option to just do general science once we got to that level of high school. It's kind of, if you're going to do science, you're going to be, like, having your free specific sections of science. Or you just drop your science classes altogether and pick a different subject. Before I can think about the topic any further, the lunch bell rings. I wonder if she was simply taking the opportunity to leave early. The usual clamour of students exchanging books for lunch reverberates around the room, and while Misha's distracted, I grab my lunch and head out the door. You're just guessing America's the same as you? Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool. It's just my brain is thinking, like, from what I understand of... Ooh, excuse me. From what I understand of, like, how academic the Japanese school system is, my assumption would have been that it would have been more specialized. Anatomy class is what inspired you to want to be a mortician or something. So, I did not do well with our anatomy lessons. Well, to be fair, like, theoretically studying anatomy I was fine with. It was whenever we got onto the dissections. And like, they brought in the frogs, and it's kind of like, oh, already, we're gonna cut these open and examine them. Or what was it? There was, I think there was an eye, like, was it an eye of something? I think there was a we had where you had to dissect an eye. Oh, but yeah, I'm not good with cutting open body parts and like that. A cow eye? I think it was a cow eye. Like, I like it. No. I just remember I, like, sat out those classes because I could not... It's like the frog and a feral cat. Lovely! I just... No, I don't... Yeah, I just don't think... I just couldn't manage doing stuff like that. Like, I'm fine with it on paper and reading about it, but something about actually, like, cutting it into a dead animal. Just didn't work for me. Lily already sits in the tea room, setting out her lunch alone. So, Hanako's not here then? Oh, Isao. How are you? I haven't met Hanako since this morning, I'm afraid. They were assuring us that the cats were not previously owned and they were just wild. Oh. Oh. Why am I yawning so much all of a sudden? That's right. Hanako and Lily live next to each other. Somehow I think their morning conversations are slightly more grounded than Kenji's ramblings. That's strange. She left class early, so I figured that she'd come here. So she's still leaving class early? Huh? Yeah, I've seen her do it a few times. Lily drops her head a little, and her tone of voice is notably depressed. It's very reminiscent of someone who is used to hearing bad news. I was sure that she'd stop doing that once you two became friends. Everyone has their own pace, I suppose. Well, I was wondering about just that today. Why exactly does she leave? I'm not entirely sure myself. I personally think that it's because she doesn't want to be put in a situation where she has to answer someone. I have a flashback of my first meeting with her, when I thought she looked like a cornered animal. Maybe I wasn't far from the truth. But she seems fine with talking to you, and with me, a bit. It's a little more complex than that. I imagine that the first thing most people ask her about is her scars and what happened. She rarely talks about it with me, but I can tell that she doesn't like to remember whatever happened back then. Leaving class and running away from discussions is her preemptive strike, if you will. Huh. So then, how does that explain her talking to me? I think that, like, already answers your question, Hisao. You demonstrated that you don't ask about this. Like, it wasn't the first thing you talked to her about, and it's not something you've ever talked to her about. Oh, yep, there we go. You said it yourself yesterday at breakfast. You tried to ignore her scars. Once she saw that you weren't going to ask her about that, she opened herself up to you. Also, I noticed that this picture, at least, there is an electrical outlet there on the, like, bottom right of the room, and that doesn't look like a UK socket. So, I can't tell what it is, but we don't here in the UK, like, very rarely we'd have cables that would be, like, well, sockets that would be on top of, like, above one another. They tend to go out sideways. Because the way our cables are designed, the cable always kind of comes out, like, perpendicular, like, underneath from the bottom of the plug. So if you had them one on top of another, the top one would be useless. I guess you're right. Maybe. I don't know. You know her better than I, so I'll take your word for it. I wouldn't worry about that. I'm sure you'll come to know her as well as I do soon enough. I welcome the prospect of her having a new friend. The two of you have such similar interests. Well, I hardly count reading as a team sport. It is good to have company, though. That's my point. Hanako is still an average person at heart. She also wants company at times like that. Huh. I see. I think. To be honest, both of you still confuse me a little. It's only natural, Hisao. We've only known each other for a little while. It's unreasonable to expect you to understand us. Just as we can't understand you. But that is half the fun of becoming friends, right? Yes. Yes, it is. Although, I suppose there is the matter of us being opposite genders. Men and women do seem to confuse each other quite often. She says this with a light giggle, finding amusement at the odd little details of life. I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to start eating. Oh, no, go ahead. I think I'll eat something too. I've got some books I want to drop back at the library before classes start, so I'd better get a move on. You'll probably find Hanako there as well. If you do see her, can you tell her to stop by my room later tonight? I'd like to talk to her. You're not coming? Unfortunately, I have a class representatives meeting later, so I'll be gone as soon as I finish my lunch. Okay then. If I don't see her in the library, then I'll tell her in class. I'm sure she'll be back after lunch. We fall silent as we start to eat, and I take a second to reflect on our conversation. I've always thought that Hanako's shyness was simply due to her being self-conscious of her scars. But that is a pretty superficial way of looking at her. Just when I thought I was able to see through the fog of Lily and Hanako, I realized that I'm more lost than when I started. Lily quickly finishes her lunch, acutely aware of her meeting. I don't blame her. Shizune is most likely going to be there, and I doubt she wants to give her the satisfaction of another argument. I must be off. Same time tomorrow. Same time, same channel. I'd better head off too. I don't want to risk being late. Lily smiles gently, picks up her cane and walks out into the hall. I turn my back on Lily as we head in opposite directions. For some reason, I find myself hoping she doesn't get into another fight with Shizune. As much as I like Lily, Shizune and Misha have been pretty instrumental in helping me adjust, even if half of our conversations are thinly veiled recruitment attempts. Then again, I barely know either of them. Maybe they were previously leaders of some kind of secret society, but their love for each other drove them apart. Man, I need to stop reading cheap fiction. It's rotting my brain. Either that or I've got to move away from Kenji and his bad influence. I was about to say, the moment he started thinking of secret societies, I'm like, hey, you've been talking to Kenji too much. It's sad that I can't tell the two apart anymore. I slide my books down the return chute and they crash into the cart with a pleasant thud. Yuko, however, doesn't seem as impressed as I. Hisao, you scared me. Sorry, I thought you'd be used to that by now. Or is the literacy level here so low that nobody borrows any books? That sounds like you're just casually insulting the entire student body. No. I think everyone here can read fine. Yeah, never mind. There are some battles that you can never win. Trying to explain jokes is one of them. My dad taught me that the hard way. Sorry. This is bringing more Kamen Rider to memory. But, yeah, it was the Kamen Rider 01. The protagonist was started off wanting to be a comedian. But, it's also a series that's like all about like AI and like humanoid robots. And he ends up in a situation where he has an assistant. No, not for comedian work, but for the work he actually does end up doing. But he still tries to tell jokes, and it's just then his AI assistant, like every time he tells a joke, is just turns to the audience, well, not to the audience, but to whoever the recipient of the joke is, just with the. What Naruto just did was make a pun between these two words, and it goes like into explaining the joke. But just like a very like clinical explanation, which I found quite funny. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Say, Yuko, have you seen Hanako about? She left class early, but she wasn't in her usual hiding place. I think I saw her sneak in before lunch. Oh, but I'm not supposed to tell anyone that. Wouldn't be you, but I'm just... I do get distracted, don't I? I just told you that I saw her leave. No need to stress out. Oh, of course. She's probably in the back. Thanks. Get any new books in recently? No, sorry. I'll let you know when we do, though. Okay. If there's one thing I know about librarians, part-time or otherwise, it's that they appreciate people who take a genuine interest in their work. Oh, excuse me. I walked a now familiar path to Hanako's reading nook, picking out a few titles along the way. Sometimes I find it hard to discover a book that will interest me among the shelves. An author's name and a two-word title doesn't mean much in a sea of similar words. For that reason, I sometimes reread books that I read in the past. Better to bet on the favourite than a new run. Oh, don't call me out like that. Not so much with books, though, but TV shows I do that a lot with. So, like, I could try and watch something new, or I could watch something that I know I like. And I do have a big enough library of things I know I like that it takes. There's always something that's like, it's been years since I've watched this. And I can always use that as a justification. An unfamiliar title from a familiar author peeks out among the spines of its neighbours, so I remove it from the shelf. At least I'm not going over old material. As expected, Hanako sits on her beanbag, buried deep in a copy of Dance, Dance, Dance. Hi Hanako, how's it going? I fight back the urge to ask why she left class early. If Lily's suspicions were right, then asking her about that could have the opposite effect. Okay, you can learn things, Hisao. Good for you. Best to leave it for the time being. Sometimes the best way to get an answer from someone is to never ask the question. Hello, Hisao. I'm fine. Something seems off, and after a couple of seconds, I realize what it is. Hanako's smiling. You've seen her smile before, Hisao. This shouldn't be new. She looks as if she's pleased to see me. It's a nice change from the usual instinctively frightened reaction, and something I hope I can see more of as we get to know each other better. Good to hear. How's that book? I've heard it's a trip. It's good, I think. I've only just started it, so I don't really know. Fair enough. Let me know how it goes. I may borrow it once you're done. Sure. There's a good 15 minutes left in lunch. Not enough to really get into a book, but too much to stand around doing nothing. And Hanako's already returned to her reading, so I doubt I'll get much comfort. Conversation from her. Oh boy, I must be more tired than I think. Am I getting old? do I need my early... It was the same yesterday. My brain was just like, nope, don't want to be up. Want to go to bed. Oh well, I'd better make myself comfortable. Slouch into a beanbag and crack open my book. The familiar style of the author leaps out at me from the very first line. As the sentences turn into paragraphs, I start to relax a little. But no matter how I try, I can't seem to get myself into the atmosphere of the book. This is partly due to the lack of time, but the more distracting factor is Hanako. Every 10 or so seconds she peers over the top of her book, but when our eyes meet, she quickly ducks behind the covers. I guess she did want to talk about something after all. What's up? You look like a prairie dog on lookout. Have you thrown off your sleep after being sick? Maybe? The thing is, I don't know if I could use the term thrown off as much as probably like thrown into like an actual functional sleep pattern. You know, like actually being tired at night. Oh, like like being like feeling ready to go to sleep at 9-10 o'clock is probably like actually typically a good thing. Getting old. Yes, I am. We degenerate. What is? Oh no, I get you there, Candy. That is very often me. Oh. For some reason, like just this, like these last couple of days, my brain has just gone. No, go to bed early. I'm gonna be tired. No, excuse me. It's nothing. I've told you before. Nothing means something when you say it like that. Hanako squirms a little in her beanbag, hoping that by changing her position she'll find the word she's looking for. I was in an accident. Okay, I wasn't expecting it to get to happen like this quickly. Like, yeah, from like he had just like been thinking like earlier in this conversation that like no, you get answers when you don't ask the question. I wasn't expecting such like quick results from that. Accent? Just now? Are you all right? Hanako shakes her head, her hair flowing around her shoulders in wisps of amethyst on a background of pale and dark flesh. No, when I was younger. Realization crashes into me like a semi. When I was... It's alright, Hanako. You don't have to tell me anything if you don't want to. I think because Hanako normally has people ask about what happened. Yeah, like, I kind of can get that she'd think, like, he probably is curious. But I just wasn't expecting it to happen, like, so quickly. Also, this music track feels new. I don't recognize this one. Again, she shakes her head. No, I have to tell you. When I was young, I was in a fire. My house burned down and I nearly didn't make it. depressing crayon drawings. After that, I was alone. Oh, did her family not make it out? Hanako's eyes glisten in the dim light of the library, and I reach out to grasp her hand. It's okay, Hanako. You don't have to keep going. But I have to. Why? What brought this on? Last night, Lily told me about your heart. And I didn't think it was fair. Fair? That I knew about you, but you didn't know about me. I squeeze Hanako's hand a little. Don't be silly. But yes, I have a heart condition. I lean a little closer to Hanako. What I didn't tell Lily is that I had my first attack when a girl confessed to me. I smile a little to break the tension. Really? Really? I haven't heard from her for a while though, so I guess it's all over. I know it's all over. There's no other way to interpret what happened the last time I saw her. In some ways, not having heard from her again has helped me move on from that period of my life. Oh boy, what's the letter scene going to be like in this route? So now, we both know a little more about each other. But you don't have to talk about things if you don't want to. In fact, I feel a little bad even thinking about that whole incident. I can almost smell the hospital's disinfectant burning the back of my sinuses again. I imagine Hanako is going through the same thing now. When I was in the hospital, I went to the burn ward once, and only once. I was bored, so I went for a walk through all the wards. I went through oncology and thought I could take it, but when I got to the burn ward, I turned around and went back to my bed. To think that Hanako would have spent months in a place like that, smelling nothing but corrupted skin, strong disinfectant, and sterilized air. The really bad cases were kept in isolated pods that no foreign objects could enter. That would have meant no reading. I would have gone insane if I didn't have my books in the hospital. And she said she was alone. Did her parents die? I'll have to ask Lily about it. I can imagine myself saying something dumb unintentionally. Thank you, Hiso. I haven't told many people about this. To be honest, I haven't told many people about my circumstances either. I won't tell anyone either. Deal. I change my grip on Hanako's hand into a handshake as the warning bells chime through the window. Well then, we'd better head back to class then, eh? Sure. Oh. Huh? Already? Costly. I know enough about chess to know that costling is something you do in chess, but not enough about chess to know what that is. Also, was that Act 1 over already? That felt very short. Because, like, it was only towards, like, the end of last stream I started Hanako's route, right? Do I have a... December 29th. Okay. But to be fair, I remember that as well. There was something like that with... Was it in Emmy's route? Where I kind of, like, I remember... Yeah, when I think of Emmy's route, I think it was the final act. Like, I felt was surprisingly short. Alrighty. I'm trying to remember what castling is in chess, because I wonder if that's going to be. Oh, is castling the rule, like the optional rule in chess, where the king can like trade places with a rook, or like. I'm trying to remember because I wonder if it's. I get the feeling it's would be relevant to know what castling is. Castling is rook king. Okay, so yeah, is that. Hanako's really says more concise. Leave you off for Hanako's. Oh, okay. So yeah, I suppose. Oh, concise. Oh, this is one of those cases though where I wonder if concise is a good thing, because I've been enjoying just like the banter between characters a lot. It's not one of those stories where I'm just like, oh, I hope this like gets to the end. The tint of the room slowly changes from the shine of the afternoon to the orange of dusk. A clock lazily ticks away the seconds, counting in the background, on the verge of hearing. But no matter how long I wait, the outcome cannot be changed. The diminutive playing piece makes a small click against the board. Like a wound spring, Hanako makes her move only moments after mine. It's embarrassing. In comparison to my 5-minute moves, she seems to know exactly what she wants to do. Mate. Again. What does this make this? 3-2? Stalemates don't count. You're getting better at this every day. That or she's been holding back. I'd never thought it when I first met her, but she really has a knack for this game. Chess seems to have become a popular pastime for the two of us. Hiding away in the tea room, playing a game or two after classes. From here, the students outside can just barely be heard milling about. The everyday noises from below remind me a little of my life before Yamagu, though I'm by now well aware that it's a life I'll never get back to. Fancy another game? I have to finish my homework. Oh. Well, I'll see you tomorrow then. But what about this? Hanako points to the tea set surrounding the mostly empty chessboard. Oh, don't worry about that. I've got it. Oh, okay. See you. Later. Hanako departs as I start cleaning up the area. The occasional whistles and cheers from the sporting clubs outside become less frequent, eventually approaching silence. And part of me still wants to be in some kind of team. Since I played soccer and other sports before my accident, I guess it's only normal to feel nostalgic about what I can't do anymore. You could do them, Hisao, if you would do your exercises. And not just completely, ignore any. But I have other reasons than that for my coming here so often. And I don't feel so bad about losing that part of myself because of them. Lily is a good friend by now, but it's the small exchanges I have with Hanako that feel especially dear. The small victories I feel every day as I see more of what she's like under her self-imposed shell. That's why I come here most of all. As I'm putting away cups and saucers, I hear talking outside the door. Pausing for a moment to listen, I can make out that it's Hanako and Lily, and decide to go outside to investigate. Are you quite sure? I'm sure. Hisao. Hanako turns to see me with a look of mild surprise as she notices my approach. Lily must have caught her just as she was about to leave. Oh my, Hisao is here as well. Afternoon, Lily. What's up? I was hoping, now that I finished with my class representative duties for today, that I might have the two of you accompany me for tea at Shanghai. Excuse me? It would be nice to enjoy ourselves outside of the school for a change. I'd be up for it. I think Hanako had work to do, though. It's not all that much. Wonderful. It seems that we're decided then. I cast my eyes across the cafe as the three of us step in. As usual, there are only a handful of people around at most, and the noise level is a quiet background hum. The hold Lily has on Hanako's arm remains just as it has been for the entire slow walk down the hill to the local town. Though it's hard to say for which reason. For Lily's guidance or for Hanako's reassurance. For a moment, Lily removes her arm from Hanako's to retract her cane, as Yuko quickly skitters over to where we stand, but soon replaces it right back where it had been. Well, I also kind of noticed that we only ever seem to ever visit the Shanghai when Yuko happens to be having one of her shifts. Welcome to the Shanghai. May I take your order? She gives a deep bow, her well-delivered and professional introduction, putting her in a good mood. It's a nice change from the norm for Yuko. Just tea, please. Hanako? Hisao? I'll have a slice of pie and a coffee. Just tea, please. Coming right up. Please take any seat you wish, and I'll be back shortly. Yuko gives a smile and a nod before shuffling to the counter, and we make our way to some empty seats by the window in quick measure. We slip into our seats, the girls on one side with Lily's cane propped up beside them, and I on the other. I realize that Hanako's not doing something that she so often does. Rather than keeping her eyes pinned to the ground and hiding behind her blind escort, busily trying to convince herself that the world around him doesn't exist, she's merely keeping her eyes low and helping Lily around. Are you okay, Lily? You look tired. She lowers her head a little, looking somewhat embarrassed that she let it show. Class representative work can be very tiring, considering that it often means dealing with the student council. Very tiring indeed. How do the other representatives go? Better than I, but not by much. Shizune is a harsh taskmaster, no matter whom she deals with. It doesn't sound like you particularly relish the job. Why'd you do it in the first place if it's that bad? Being a class representative is enjoyable, and I can deal with the responsibility well enough. It's just that the people involved are sometimes... Shizune. She trails off, cutting her words at a rather opportune spot. It's hard to imagine Lily cursing, but I imagine that if anyone could make her do so, it would be Shizune. Hanako looks to be withering a bit in the light of such conflict, but before I can steer the topic away a little, she stands up. Hanako? I'll be back in a bit. And with that, she leaves for the restrooms. I suppose that's one way to deal with the situation, if that was indeed her motivation. Lily, however, looks a little wounded. Oh, don't worry about it. I don't think it was you. But I think she's been getting stronger recently. You've seen it yourself, right? That went a little bit awry. Yeah. Fortunately, Lily doesn't look offended. By now I really shouldn't be quite so scared of stepping on that landmine around her. Possibly. Sometimes I find it hard to tell, though. I think I might need to stop just at the 2-hour mark tonight, because I'm apparently more tired than I thought I was. Silence reigns for a moment before 2 teacups, a pie, and a mug of steaming coffee appear in front of us. I notice that Yuko takes special care to place the teacup against the tip of Lily's fingers, letting her know where it is. Here you go. Thanks, Yuko. Thank you. Listen, dear. I will do my best. With a quick and silent bow, the bespectacled waitress takes her leave. Ah, that's right. I was meaning to ask you something, and now would be the right time to do so. I'm all ears. Hanako's birthday is coming up, and I was hoping that you might accompany me for present shopping in the city this weekend. Hanako's birthday is soon? I suppose it would be a nice chance to cheer her up a bit. Like Yuko, she always seems to be teetering on the edge of either panic or depression, and I've never seen her enjoy herself much outside of our chess games. Ooh, I wonder if this will be like similar to when we did it in Lily's route. Like, would we be meeting Akira and can't remember the name of is it Shizune's cousin or little brother? I can't remember. All that aside, learning the layout of the city better with a friend keeping me company sounds like a good way to spend a weekend. Sure, I'd be happy to. Have you got any plans for what to do for her birthday? A party or anything? Little brother, okay. I was trying to remember, like, I knew they were related. I was trying to remember, like, were they siblings or cousins? Hanako being Hanako, perhaps a low-key affair would be... Lily suddenly cuts herself short, leaving me to wonder why as she brings her teacup to her lips and begins to sip. After a few seconds, I notice Hanako walking up to us over her shoulder. Lily's hearing must be very good indeed if it was the sound of the restroom door opening that tipped her off. Hanako takes her seat once again and wastes no time in drinking her tea. Oh yeah, that's probably where I was getting it from. Hanako takes her seat once again and wastes no time in drinking her tea. Soon the 3 of us are quietly eating and drinking as the sun sets. It's a nice way to spend the remainder of the day's light, and it makes me appreciate the quiet and serene surroundings of Yamaku. I think I'm really beginning to like life here, as isolated as it may be. I finish off the last of my coffee and rest the mug on the table while the girls talk between themselves. The coffee here is a little bitter for my taste, but still quite good. Better than what I can make for myself in any case. The girls' discussion is mainly focused on their respective reading preferences, which does give me a little curiosity about a related topic. Hey, Hanako, I was just wondering, aside from chess and reading, do you have any hobbies or things you like doing? She's completely stopped in her tracks, looking quite surprised that anyone would be interested in asking such a question about her. It takes her a little time to formulate a response. I guess I like singing a little. I'm okay with computers as well, but I don't use them all that much. Singing's not exactly something I expected to hear. It's hard to imagine her singing voice given how soft-spoken she is. Lily, on the other hand, simply nods. She must already know all this since she's been friends with Hanako for 1 year or so by now. What about you? Me? She hesitates before quickly flicking her head up and down. It's only logical that she'd want me to talk about my hobbies after she's told me hers. Well, there's chess, obviously, but also... there was soccer as well, though I can't really do that anymore. Reading, which I picked up in hospital. This is surprisingly hard. Lily and Hanako look a little put off by the direction this is taking, and the more I think about it, the more I am too. It sounds as if you've picked up quite a few things since your accident. Lily's candor is coated with probably the most positive spin one could put on what I said. Hanako, however, is silent. If the situation becomes difficult, her reaction always seems to be withdrawing into silence, in order to prevent things getting worse. That or physically retreating. Oh. A soft ringing gives us pause. As Lily reaches into her pocket, it becomes obvious that the sound's coming from her phone. Sorry. It's okay. Lily gives a quick nod before shuffling out of her seat and taking the call a little distance away to avoid disturbing the both of us. Oh, must be nice to be popular. Hanako smiles, but doesn't take up the hook for further discussion. Oh, nap time. I end up just sitting back and closing my eyes, relaxing as best I can. It's nice and peaceful here. I wonder what it'd be like to have grown up somewhere like this, rather than in the city. You come from the city? Oh, looks like I found something she wants to talk about. Yeah, you could say I was a city kid through and through. It sounds like a lot has changed. It did. I'm still not quite sure what to make of it all, though. It's a bit of a culture shock in more ways than one. You must have gone through something like this when you first arrived at Yamagu, right? I'd imagine most new students would. Not really. Hanako gazes a little to the side, looking unwilling to go on. I tilt my head inquisitively, but a couple of seconds pass with no further answer. But can't we deal with that on Monday? The fallout is hardly settled from the last. I understand. I'll try to talk her down. You know what she's like when she gets locked onto an idea. Yes, thank you. I'll talk to you later then. Goodbye. Lily's conversation ends with the snap of her phone closing. She returns to her table, but doesn't take her seat. Need to go? Unfortunately, class representative work calls once again. I can come with you. It's alright, Hanako. I'll just be going straight to the student council. There's no need to spoil a fine evening on my account. Besides, if you were to accompany me on my way back to the school, who would keep our poor Hisao company? Okay. Oh, is this... No, excuse me. Is Lily okay, though? Like, walking the whole way back to the school herself? Just anytime we... Well, have we? I'm trying to think if we've ever have seen like Lily out and about in the town by herself before. Oh, I'm sure she'll be fine. Hopefully. I can join you for tea again later tonight if you'd like. I may well need it. You denying Lily or... I'm just wondering that, like, if she, like, is that familiar with the town that she can make her way to and from the school unassisted. I feel this Hanako probably is still would be the bigger worry about being able to make the journey alone. Oh. But yeah, I'm just trying to think, like, any time we've seen Lily go to or from the school into the town, it's either been with Hisao or with Hanako, I think. We agree on that plan, and Lily says her farewells to the both of us, taking her cane after Hanako passes it to her. Despite my offer to pay for Lily's share, she insists on giving us her portion of the bill. Oh, she insists on giving... Wait. Okay, right. I was confused by that. She insists on giving... I was just confused by the way that was worded. Like, it sounded like... Yeah, I was just confused. She insists on giving us her portion of the bill and gives her regards to Yuko as she takes her leave. And then we're alone. It may be all well and good to leave Hanako and me alone to have some time together, but all it typically means is the two of us sitting near each other in silence for a while. I wonder what I must look like to Hanako. I never thought of myself as a scary person, but to have someone my own age acting this way around me makes me intensely self-aware. As if it's my fault that she's so troubled. She might get more used to people if she were to stop being so cloistered in Yamagu, but then again, when even people much older than her react so strongly after a single glance at her face, she may well feel the same way I do now. It's a real catch-22. If she stays in Yamagu, she won't get used to socializing, but if she leaves, any effort she might try would get thrown back at her by the people who can't deal with her scarring. Want to order something else to keep us going? We haven't had much of a dinner after all. Hanako brightens and nods vigorously, glad that I brought up the topic for her. I catch Yuko's gaze and she dutifully comes over to take our orders. Would you like something else? I'll just have a sandwich special and a hot chocolate. A bit late for coffee by now. Hanako? I'll have the same. With a nod and a bow, Yuko turns on the ball of her foot and returns behind the counter, where she busies herself fishing out bread and condiments and working the machine to make our drinks. Not a word is said between us until Yuko comes back. She smiles and gives us our food and drinks, before moving to a customer who's called for her attention. I give up on the prospect of having much of a conversation with my companion and decide to just enjoy the meal, small as it may be. It tastes nice, as does most of the food here. After having a few mouthfuls, I notice something's missing, namely the sound of Hanako eating. Looking back to her, I see Hanako fidgeting a little behind her untouched sandwich. Not hungry? She shakes her head from side to side. Even as she does, the patch of her hair she keeps over the right side of her face still does its job in hiding it almost entirely. It's not that. Aw, I was all ready to have your share too. You look troubled. Is something wrong? I'm startled by her thinking that I'm the one who looks troubled, but on second thought, she's probably right. My face may have given away my emotions without me noticing, and she's hardly a dim person. Quite the opposite. We're friends, right? Friends. From the tone of her voice and shrinking posture, it looks as though I've hit yet another landmine. This is another reason why interacting with her is difficult. The self-imposed psychological barriers she puts up between herself and others, including me and, most likely, even Lily. It's a shame that... I think that we are. I'm a little taken off guard by Hanako's straightforward answer. All the more so since I was about to give up on getting any reply at all. I see. Am I wrong? Sorry, I... No, it's just... Hearing confirmation of that from you is reassuring. To pick up on what you said earlier, since coming to Yamagu, I've been a bit uneasy about how I should relate with others. I find myself chuckling a little. It's surprising how much of a relief that was. I can feel my face smiling as I pick up my cup of hot chocolate and bring it to my lips. Ouch, that's hot. That's why I haven't eaten yet. I was waiting for my drink to cool down first. I guess I'll wait then. The both of us share a little chuckle. The situation isn't really that funny, but for some reason it feels like laughing is the most natural thing to do right now. I guess we were both a bit wound up about each other. I was so busy thinking Hanako was the one with something wrong that it took her to remind me that I was uneasy as well. But be that as it may, it still feels a little nice. A little nice to have someone thinking about me like that, in her own way. Following a long, quiet trudge up the hill and into the school grounds, the two of us find ourselves between the two dormitories. Regular night patrols pass between the male and female dormitory buildings, both for security and to quickly raise the alarm for any medical issues that may arise. The guard currently on duty notices us and gives a quick nod as he continues on his way. A loud yawn escapes from Hanako's mouth before she has a chance to cover it. I have little doubt she's fairly tired by now. I'd better be off to my room then. I'll see you tomorrow, Hanako. Good night. We separate and begin to walk our separate ways before I stop and look back. Hanako stands there, waving to me as she smiles. I smile and wave back to her, and after a few seconds she turns and walks up the stairs to her dormitory building, disappearing through the door. These little moments we share between us feel like a small treasure. One thing is sure. I want to protect that small, delicate smile she so fleetingly wears around so few people. I wonder about these feelings I have when Hanako's around, and when I'm able to do things for her. Whether they may be the seed for something beyond what we share now. That actually feels like, if I'm going to finish up, like that feels like a fairly nice place to put a gap in it. Also, I see the track. Hisa, are you finally going to do some exercise? Because you should. It still bothers me that it's only in Emmy's route you even try to keep up your jogging. I did save, didn't I? Well, we got another picture for the scrapbook at least. I do not get why I'm so tired at the moment. Oh. But yeah. This one, I'm getting... I'm still a little nervous about this. Because, like, every route has had, like, the drama point. Like, with Rin, it was... It was leading up to the exhibition. With Emmy, it was when we were at her house, and the stuff came up about her. No, it wasn't about her dad. Lily had the whole moving away, like moving back to Scotland thing. So I'm a little nervous about... Because Hanako does feel like the type who's... Yeah. I'm just kind of nervous, because Hanako's personality definitely seems like the type where drama is going to be difficult for her to deal with. Also, looking at the picture, I wonder if the third picture for Hanako is going to have her with her face entirely unobscured. Because I've noticed the pictures do tend to follow something. Like Emmy's is her starting into a sprint. Rin's is the depressing one, where Rin's feels like it's actually Hisao and Rin getting further away. Because it's still Rin's the first picture is Hisao reaching out to her sleeve. The second act for Rin had both Hisao and Rin, but they were separated. And then Rin's final picture is her standing alone. And then Lily's pictures are all she's just holding the hands of different people throughout her life. And Hanako, it's hard to tell with just two pictures what the third is going to be, because you don't really see too much of a pattern yet. But I noticed in the first one, she has both, her face covered with both her hands. The second one, she's still got her hair in front of half of her face, but she's not hiding the other half. Which makes me wonder if the third one is going to... I feel like of all the bad endings because Hanako's for. I hope I don't get the bad ending. Bad endings make me feel bad. I don't like them. No. But I suppose, thinking of that, I've only got four pictures left to unlock. Love her Ruta never did her bad ending, couldn't take it. Yeah. It was bad enough getting Rin's bad ending. But yeah, that's going to be me for today. So I'll be back on Thursday. I don't know what I'll be playing on Thursday yet. You had to see all the endings. You didn't have to. No. But yeah, I've got a few horror games I kind of want to start up this month, and I'll pick one of them to... Actually, I think on Thursday I might just play more. I might just read more of Katawa Shoujo, because that's my afternoon stream. But he is a monster. But she's my little monster. I can't say anything bad about her. Yeah, I don't think I'll try anything horror on Thursday because it'll still be daylight when I'm streaming. So I think I have to save any horror games for Mondays or Tuesday streams where it's actually in the evening and dark out. But yeah, so yeah, I think I'll just continue Katawa Shoujo on Thursday. Make up for missing last week. So and hesitate even when you're telling the truth. I feel I've missed the context for that. I'll tell you. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I will be back on Thursday. So yeah, that'll be me for tonight. I think I need to start getting ready for bed already. get some sleep. That's probably why my brain is being so slow at the moment. But yeah, thank you for coming along. I hope you enjoyed. And until the next stream, I hope you have a good day, have a good evening, and goodbye.